Hey guys, today I wanted to do a video about anger or chronic anger. If you would like and subscribe down at the bottom, leave any questions or comments just about anything that you run into in the video or any future videos you might like me to make. I've done some videos on anger before, but lately it's something that I found myself dealing with a little bit, and it's always interesting to find your way back, right? Like when you walk a path that you've walked before, you know that path, and once you find it, and once it kind of hits you, you have that like epiphany, and that shift in perspective, I guess you could say, and it's pretty amazing, I think that everyone is different, and I think that is the fact that makes everyone so unique, and it allows us all to be human. Like we all have so many different characteristics and qualities about ourselves that are just so individual, and it's amazing to be able to be a part of something like that. I think that when you find yourself in a situation where you are really, really angry, when you can really be able to see someone for who they are individually and all those characteristics that make them themselves, you're able to really get on a human level, like where you can find value in any person. And just like in The Myth of Self-Esteem by Albert Ellis, he talks about us. Humans have intrinsic value because we are alive and therefore serving our purpose. And when you can really look at someone and see where they're from and where they've been, and maybe you don't know them well, maybe you do, right? But you can usually put yourself in someone's shoes. If it's someone that you know super well and you've known for a long time, you can maybe find out things about their past or their family or their job or their upbringing, or if where they're from, abuse. Maybe they've had hard things happen to them in life. Maybe they've come from poverty. Maybe different religious backgrounds, and you're able to really see people for who they are. And when you can put yourself in someone's shoes, you can put yourself in a situation of understanding and acceptance. Now, I want to read a part from Meditations, a part of a book that I've read this book 3 times, and when I read this again this time, I was just like, holy crap, how did I not get this? But so when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. And so none of them can hurt me. No one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel anger at my relative or hate him. We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the 2 rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these are obstructions. There's going to be lots of times in life where you're going to run into people and situations, and you're going to get mad at yourself too. And giving yourself a little compassion and acceptance is, I think, really key, and especially for your life and other people. That's really what's going to help get rid of help you not be so frustrated about everything. Um, it can make a dramatic change in your life. The other thing I would really look at is looking at how serious you're making your life to be, and how serious you're making your situations to be. If you can try to look at things more at a point of logic rather than emotion, I think what you'll find is your emotion will be taken out of it. When you're the kind of person that can be in any situation and remain the same, then that's when you're gonna really find true freedom, especially from anger. Now, here the interesting thing about anger is it's really similar to anxiety. A lot of times when you're anxious for long periods of times, what happens is your adrenaline's going to anxious. When you're anxious for long periods of time, your adrenaline's gonna constantly be going all the time, and what's gonna happen is it's essentially going to make your fight or flight mechanism obviously go off nonstop, and then you're just gonna become exhausted. You're gonna become irritable. You're gonna become angry, sometimes frustrated. Right? That doesn't really give you an excuse to act angry, but it kind of explains why you can be frustrated or irritated. Now, under anxiety, sometimes anxiety can go away. Sometimes you can have those other emotions like irritation, frustration, anger. They can come up chronically and be stuck, and you got to wear them the same way. You got to wear them just like you would wear any anxiety feeling, and carry it with you, and then break down those irrational beliefs about the anger, just like you would with anxiety. And then also what you want to do is, if I find myself really frustrated at someone, I'll try to set some time, maybe once or twice a week, to really if it's someone I really care about, right, that I know, to look at their motivations, look, why are they doing this, and try to understand them and take my personal feelings out of it. I think that really helps me a lot with logic, and displacing any feelings that I have. Now, the other thing people have said about anger is, if you're angry, walk away. I don't necessarily always agree with that, because I think that's just another kind of avoidance. But I think that if you set aside, if before you speak immediately, obviously setting aside a little time, but it's good to be able to have a argument and not be confrontational. Just because you're having an argument doesn't mean you need to yell or scream or be aggressive, right? You can still get things done without doing that. So I don't think necessarily walking away is always the best thing to do. I do think that when you go to talk to someone about something, if you're having lots of anger involved, you should try not to bring your feelings into it. And another thing is a lot of people will say, "Oh, just let it out." Like that's not a thing. You're just exacerbating it. Imagine it just like anxiety. It's like you're just perpetuating it. That doesn't really work either, right? So you have to find balance, in the middle, where if you're going to bring something up, it needs to be worth your time. Other than that, you need to just hold it close to your chest, be uncomfortable, feel those feelings, those sensations, right? Now, the other thing with anger, especially, at least for me, it's one emotion that you feel like you're justified to hold on to, and you feel like, hey, you have a right to feel this way. And a lot of people say, oh, you should be pissed, and then the reality of it is that's not necessarily true. Like, that's really a bunch of crap. Like, you can be frustrated if you want and make yourself miserable and possibly raise your blood pressure and make yourself sweat and work yourself up, or you can see the true value of anger, right? Or any of those emotions of any of those kinds, and that they have zero value. There's no value in those. Think about it. If you're in a fight, do you think being super crazy angry is going to help you win it? No. Like, if you really have to protect yourself, you need to be smart. You need to breathe. You need to take the right steps. If you're if you're in an argument with your spouse, you being heated and rude and upset and emotional isn't going to help. You being logical and being able to talk and explain things in a non-emotional way, and being able to control them will help, right? But it takes practice. It's just like anything else. You got to work at it. There's a book, How to Control Your Anger Before Your Anger Controls You. It's by Albert Ellis. Really good book. Take a look at it. Another book I would suggest reading is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Really good book. Third time I've read it. This is the first time I've read it on paper. I usually just do an audiobook. It's a really, really good book about just stoicism, not necessarily showing emotions, but not bringing them out and being the same in every aspect. Not too high, not too low, just being, an even keel, I guess you could say. A lot of really good lessons in the book. But anyways, I've dealt with some people really close to me in my life, especially like some even family, and business partners. A lot of people do some really messed up stuff in my life, and the only way to get over it or to not be angry is by just accepting it and feeling those emotions and breaking down those things. And over time, what you'll find is you'll be a lot happier. You don't have to be mad. You don't have to be upset. You don't have to be frustrated. You don't have to hate anybody. It's not worth your time. And it's not worth feeling bad. Anger does not make you feel good. That's a fact. So anyways, hope you guys have a good night, and that's all I got for you today.